What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with Destiny 2 news, some updates from Bungie, and a sneak peek at some of the upcoming content in the next couple of months. So there are a few things to talk about as always. Bungie discussed some bugs and issues in the game, future updates that they have planned alongside Solstice, and a handful of other items. Plus, we'll talk about some of the changes in the game this week, the seasonal progression, and players have yet more gameplay showing off an upcoming exotic that will be getting sometime after the end of August. So a few things to go over today guys. As always, I hope you enjoy the video, and if you do, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. But without further delay, let us get into it. And first, some issues that Bungie have recognized over the past few days, and they said we identified an issue where an experimental ammo system where players did not start with ammo but could retain gathered special ammo between rounds was accidentally activated in Trials of Osiris. And so obviously that wasn't intended, and they did issue a server-side fix change to reactivate the ammo meter system in Trials. So that's for the moment, but they say once fixed, Trials will swap to the blended system used in the rest of Crucible. And specifically for when that fix will actually come, they say it's likely to ship alongside Solstice of Heroes, and we'll have updates in a future twid on the expected date, but until then, the ammo meter system will be live in Trials. So keep that in mind, the Solstice update will be on the 6th of August. So it isn't too far away, and of course there'll be other changes, fixes, and sandbox tune-in that will get inside of that patch. So as always, it's stuff that I will keep you posted on. Otherwise, Bungie have also said they're looking to address issues with the Havoc hardware node in Crucible Labs, where basically the mode isn't differentiating between supremacy and hardware. So they say the second option is the one that players should select to get into hardware, and all Crucible Labs modes do have bonus reputation, so keep that in mind. Next up though, more commentary on fixes from Bungie, and somebody said, can you give us a timeline on the Crystal Shatter fix for Consecration and Diamond Lance? And Bungie said that the team is aware of the issue, and it's indeed a bug and not an intended design, but they don't currently have a timeline, and they say stay tuned for future comms on a fixed time frame, so that's something that will ultimately be fixed. And lastly, for the moment, Bungie said they are extending the challenge week for Salvation's Edge by one additional week, as an issue impacting associated triumphs lasted for multiple weeks, so they want to ensure players have appropriate time to plan and complete the encounters that they need, which essentially means that all of the Master Salvation's Edge challenge triumphs will be available to complete up until August 6th. Next up though, let's speak about some of the Echoes content this week. Of course, we got more quest steps, which are ultimately leading us to the Act 2 finale that we'll get access to next week. There is additionally the new Battleground, which has a boss more or less identical to the Garden World boss, although it's a pretty cool boss phase, as there are these sort of death walls that move around, and they're either clockwise or anti-clockwise, so as we damage the boss, we have to move around the arena, and then there's a crystal we can break when the boss teleports, as well as an oracle that gives us extra damage on the plate, so that in itself was kinda cool. And at the end, we also get the Nest 05 quest. Some of these quests are a bit repetitive, but once we've done that one this week, we unlock focusing for the Act 2 weapons, so if you've been trying to focus for things like Aberrant Action, that is possible after this week's quests. We also collect a frog in the Nest quest this week, which ends up being housed in a sort of giant engram in the helm right here. And Failsafe refers to the frog as Captain Jacobson, so Failsafe has a pet now, and I guess we do as well. That clip was shared by my friend Duddits. And otherwise, I'm still seeing some questions about Perfect Paradox and when we're going to get access to it. And from looking at the upcoming quest for next week's reset, there'll be a mission at the end of the quest steps where we need to work with Saint 14, and ultimately that's when we'll first get access to the updated Perfect Paradox. Then it will be introduced into the loot pool. So kind of annoying that we have to wait another week, but we will eventually be able to get it. Next up though, let's talk about content and glitches. And there's an interesting one right here, where players have been able to skip the mechanics at the witness encounter of the raid and enter the DPS phase. And as we can see from the video posted right here, it can be done solo. So if you're using Two-Tail Fox, when you first spawn into the witness encounter, at the very back of the arena, it's possible to actually fire Two-Tail Fox at one of the witness's glyphs. And if you fall down behind the architecture as you fire, the second round from Two-Tail Fox will actually kill you. But that enables us to break one of the glyphs, and then we have to repeat the process basically 6 times until all of the glyphs are destroyed. And the reason this is possible is that for some reason, on spawn, the glyph breaker buff is actually available for just a couple of seconds. So it basically means you can spawn in, destroy a glyph and kill yourself simultaneously, respawn and do it again, until you're actually able to enter the damage phase without doing most of the mechanics. So given that Two-Tail Fox is the primary way of doing this, I imagine one of the early fixes might be, if Bungie feel like it, to actually disable the exotic, but we'll just have to wait and see. Speaking of Still Hunt, while we're here, of course we got the nerfs this week, and Real Fake shared to Reddit some damage numbers. I haven't actually tried the thing out since the change, but Still Hunt without Celestial, pre-nerf, does 309,000 damage. This is tested in the Nessus loss sector. And pre-nerf Still Hunt with Celestial was 473,000 damage, so that's 53% more damage. But post-nerf Still Hunt with Celestial is 317,000 damage, which is more like 2.5% more. And so the Celestial Still Hunt combination still combines all three of the shots, but it only gives a damage increase of about 2.5%. So it's a fairly significant change from where it was, but it's still pretty much coming out on top as the best Hunter DPS, just without that giant direct hit damage. So give us your thoughts or experiences with Still Hunt since the change this week. On to a final update right here, and Bungie Leaks on Twitter did share yet more gameplay of the Choir of One auto rifle, which is the upcoming exotic that we'll get during Act 3. So there have been a few leaks about this. Obviously, if you don't want to know anything about it, then don't watch the video from here on out. But players are using various different services and methods to get access to bits of content early, which I swear hasn't been that prevalent in the past unless I'm just missing something, but it seems to be happening quite a lot at the moment. So anyway, here's the clip that they shared on Twitter, an in-game look at the Choir of One. And the main trait that we can see in action there is Fanatical Lance, where rapid final blows cause targets to explode in a pool of radiolarian fluid. Plus, hip firing launches multiple projectiles at once in a slower moving spread pattern, and those projectiles will detonate on impact. So we can kind of see what the weapon's doing here when hip firing. It seems to put out some pretty good damage. Of course, take everything with a pinch of salt. The weapon could be tuned differently or somehow perform a little differently when it actually drops, but this is the basic idea. So give us your thoughts about that. But Bungie Leaks also shared a mega post about the exotic mission, and there are a bunch of details we won't really go into, but it will have a normal and expert variant, and the mission itself will actually be called Encore. Bungie had teased recently that this is one of the largest exotic missions they've ever created, and we can see from the post that it seems to have 6 different kind of main areas, and the post also references one of the mechanics potentially being to install various kinds of Vex modules in certain node sequences, potentially indicating that this will be a little more mechanic heavy than maybe some of the other missions we've seen. Otherwise though, that's about all we can say for now, but we keep getting dribs and drabs of new previews for some of the upcoming content, and obviously the exotic mission itself is one that players will be most interested in actually getting access to in relation to probably the rest of the content that we actually have for the episode. So it's neat to get a look, but when we get more official details, I'll be sure to keep you posted. For now though, that's what we have to speak about in the video today. So as always guys, I hope you've enjoyed this one and found it useful. And if you have, a rating below really helps us out on the channel. Also be sure to get subscribed and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in and I hope you guys have an awesome day.